Hi, just thought I'd give you a quick rundown of a wreath I made and put on my back gate at home. It's not my best creation, but it was the supplies I had given our limit in terms of what we can shop for right now. So the supplies I have come mostly from the Dollar Tree or the Dollarama. As you can see, there's ribbon, pipe cleaners, some mesh, deco mesh, and a wreath frame, and some tulips that I also got at the Dollar Tree. So just really quickly, I cut some pipe cleaners in half to use those to attach the deco mesh to the frame. So while I'm doing that, I just thought I'd talk a little bit about the the self isolation or social distancing that we're all doing. And I had done a lot of shopping for Easter crafts prior to all of this happening, and I will share some videos of things I'm making for Easter and spring with you, but just know that I did shop for these items prior, so please stay safe. Don't go out unless you absolutely have to, and Easter and spring will come again next year, so if you don't make crafts this year, that is fine. It's just better to stay healthy. So we are doing our social distancing from at the cottage. We feel very, very fortunate to have a more isolated place to go and to try and stay away from the virus. So as you can see, this is what it looks like when you do the ring around the entire wreath. There's two. I did the outer and the inner with the same activity, and then what I did was I just cut two pieces of deco mesh in the white and in the purple, and I'm using those both together. I'm just gathering them together in almost like a little bow shape, and then attaching them back to the pipe cleaners, and that will allow the wreath to fill up and plump up, and it'll also help to hide the frame. So it's a little tedious cutting up all these squares, but it's well worth it in the end because it really does fill in the wreath. So be patient with yourself and the deco mesh, and make sure to go around the wreath, both the outer and the inner as well on the wreath. As you can see, I'm doing an inner now. I just did the outer. And I'm just going back and using the exact same pipe cleaner pieces that I had. And then trimming the any of the deco mesh strings that go with the process. So that's what it looks like with the deco mesh on all the way around. Just putting on the final couple of pieces. And then making a bow with some ribbon that I got from the Dollarama. I have some clear lavender and pink. Oh, sorry, these aren't the bows yet. I did make a couple of gathers of ribbon to put into the wreath as well. Again, that was just to fill it and give it some color throughout. It's a pretty whimsical wreath because it's the fabrics are translucent and filmy versus solid. So I believe I put 3 of those into the wreath. And now, I wasn't lying, I did actually make some bows and made that with some of the ribbon I got at the Dollarama. This one has some cute Easter eggs on it. And I just folded it over a few times, and then I'll just gather that. You'll see at the end, and one of the reasons I'm not particularly, well, I shouldn't say I'm not fond of the wreath. I like the wreath, but I found the bow turned out too tight, and this was before we were doing the social distancing, so I made the wreath, brought it home, hung it on the back fence and decided, or the back door, fence door, and decided that I wasn't as keen on the bow. But when we left, I didn't have room with all our stuff to bring it back because I was going to loosen up the bow and make a bigger bow. So the end result is what it is because we didn't have, I didn't have the option to bring it back, and it's at home right now. Hopefully brightening up people's days when if they're out for a walk trying to get some fresh air and see it. There's at least a little taste of spring at home. So you'll see I'm layering 4 layers of ribbon for the bow. They're getting a little smaller for each color. There we go. So what's important now is to find the middle, line them up, and then find the middle. You can just fold it to give yourself that middle space. And then I like to make a little notch. There's a crafter called Olivia's Romantic Home, I believe, and she makes the bows by creating a notch. And I thought that was a great idea because it really does help tighten it and allows you to distribute it a little more evenly when you're pulling it apart. So, and as always, once the bow's done, it's time to zhuzh. I did like the ribbon that they have at Dollarama this year. It's quite pretty and colorful. I think wiped out the one near the in the town nearest to the cottage in early February when their Easter stuff started to come out. So that's a ribbon and it looks great here. I just wasn't as impressed with it once I attached it to the wreath, and I think, as I said, I just attached it too tightly, and then I didn't have the ability to, or the time and the ability to loosen it up a little bit so it didn't sit so deep into the wreath and so tight. Then the next step was adding some greens to it. As you've probably noticed, I've been threatening to use these greens in a number of crafts and then always changed my mind. So this time I am actually adding them to the wreath. I'm doing the same to the other side. Originally I was gonna, and you'll see near the end of the video, I had it set up so that the bow and the greens were on one side, on the left side. But then when I hung it on the gate, I decided to put the bow at the top and have the flowers falling and the greens falling to either side of it. So in the end, you know, you can use whatever colors you want, whatever deco mesh and ribbon you want, whatever flowers, and decide how you want it to hang. Again, this is just me having some fun and trying out some, you know, some fun stuff with some crafting materials, but the important thing is to do it the way you want to do it and make it look the way you want it to look. And then I have a few little purple flowers that I'm adding to the greens in the wreath, pulling out the purple that's in the deco mesh and the ribbon. And then finally some tulips. Now I'm adding the purple flowers, so the cream kind of brightens it up as well. I think I had 5 of the cream tulips. I added 3 on one side and 2 on the other, which was great when I was originally going to put it with the ribbon and flowers on the left and sort of do that at an angle. It's a little different though when you're hanging it from the bow at the top, because now the flowers are uneven on either side, which is fine with me. But again, when you make yours, you can do whatever you like with it. And I'm making sure to glue everything in because my plan was always to put it outside, and I didn't want the wind to blow away any of the pieces. And there are the little purple flowers. and it's just about done. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you make something for your home, and have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.